Alright, so you can tell I've got my celebratory Supermaker DesignSpark t-shirt on, and that's because the first build is finished. And there we are, over London, and playing London. And so yeah, this is a pretty cool moment. And even though I think it'll probably move if I put it down on the table. No, it didn't. I did. Alright. So, what's great is we can pop over for some easy music in France. And then, here we go. Let's try a bit of Warsaw. Usually pretty angry and rocky out there. There we go. Quality stuff. And then pretty easy to just nip across to, say, Beijing. Try and do this one-handed. Nothing happening in Beijing, but we did tune into it. And my favourite. See if I can get my Auckland Boosh FM. All got Hamilton. There we go. The mighty Boosh FM over in New Zealand. So there we go. And volume up and volume down when you don't accidentally knock it. In fact, it is actually a small detail. I've actually made the globe. I improved the CAD and the tolerance, and I made it so frictionless that it's actually a little bit too easy to knock it now. So there's an irony that my slightly frictiony first model was better than the finished one. But luckily, introducing friction is not usually as problematic as removing it. But yeah, I've absolutely been loving traveling the globe. Probably personal favorite is a bit of New Delhi. There's been some good Bollywood stuff, which I've been enjoying out there. See if I can grab a bit of that. Try and do it one-handed. There we go. So yeah, and I'm very pleased with how the whole thing has turned out. In that, if you can see under here as well, we've got essentially, obviously this would usually have been solid, but I think it's kind of cool that we made it so that you can see all the wiring, as ultimately I'm sure this would be good as a sort of STEM project. And even though I'll probably put a bit of polycarbonate perspex just on the bottom to stop dust building up, or anyone putting it, any metal objects in there. I think it'll just be really cool to also, see how everything is put together. And as you can see, my slightly obsessive challenge of deciding to put all the screws and fixings inside, as you'll notice, there's none on the outside, which for me was just a bit of fun. If you're going to 3D print it and not design something by the usual rules of injection molding, then you might as well do something a bit unusual. So it's nice to play around with that aesthetic. But yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled by this, and it's just been one of those great things to sort of even the people around me who've I've shared photos with whilst I've been working on it, and got a few little feedback and a bit of comments. It's just, there's just something about having this in your hands, it being stable, screwed together, reasonably sturdy. It's just terrific. It's one of those things which I think video fails here, of that there's just something extremely satisfying about indulging your curiosity of almost is it 195 countries in the world, and just bombing around them. And of course there's even more cities than that, which this thing has. I think it has at the minute, the database is being refined, so some of the links are duff, but it's also being improved upon. But I'm pretty sure we're like in excess of 1,500 stations in this little thing. So I think it's just extraordinary And oh yeah, just small things like we have a button so it switches off. But for the love of forums and any help out there on Raspberry Pi 4B, we seem unable to crack the enigma that is getting Bluetooth to work seamlessly. So it is plugged in at the 3.5mm jack, and indeed it would just, it's perfectly alright that you can switch it on at the wall. But I think the current Raspberry Pi 4 also has a few bugs with the run pinout, which essentially is a thing on the circuit board that when you press a button it should just start from standby. But that also seems to have a bit of a beta dev issue. But this is not a criticism of Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi has been absolutely fantastic, and it's truly mind-bending how fast it manages to jump into radio stations when you're considering what it's doing with the rotary encoders. So yeah, I couldn't be happier, and I think those are the sort of things which actually, this is the beauty of GitHub, is that you can quite easily just update those things as soon as they make the necessary adjustments to it. Or indeed, someone clever out there might think of a hack to work around it. So the only thing left is to do a rebuild, reprint everything, do everything from scratch, essentially making a second one of these, and then documenting all of that to go on probably my platform of choice, which is instructables.com, to show how to make it. The GitHub needs finishing. The CAD needs polishing so that it's available should anyone want to iterate and build upon this. They're very welcome to. And then I think that is it, which is nuts. Can't believe we're here. It's been I think this is getting close to about a month, and we're I was going to say moderately on budget. I think it's still pretty respectable, but we seem to be on time and on spec, as in it's definitely working. And I think this is a hell of a proof of concept. I absolutely love it. So I hope you do too. Bye. What should we get?